It's great to see you here today at AIBC Dubai. Well, for the first time, we saw crypto brought down by a traditional finance bank collapse. SVB Bank, taken over by the regulators last week, had $3.3 billion of USDC reserves, leading the market to be concerned that USDC wouldn't be able to cover its full commitments. And a traditional type run on the bank, a run on the crypto, ETH prices spiked while there was a flight to safety out of USDC. Now, this is a really important moment for crypto. It's when a traditional bank has actually destabilized crypto, whereas the narrative in the media is always that this is going to be the other way around. And what this shows us is that crypto needs an asset class which is not pegged to fiat. 78% of transactions in crypto are conducted through stable coins, and now we see that stable coins aren't actually stable at all. And so what we're doing at SingularityNet and with the Cogito protocol, we're introducing a new type of algorithmically driven tracer coin, which is pegged to an algorithmic indices, a green index, also making the planet greener at the same time.
So walk us through exactly how the AI technology in that example will solve the problem of a future depeg from happening. Luna collapsed earlier. Could this technology prevent something from Luna happening again?
This technology is absolutely designed to prevent something like Luna happening again. So we are using algorithms, AI algorithms, to build a treasury, to build an index. So we're pegging our stablecoin, which is not exactly a stablecoin, we're calling it a tracer coin. We're pegging it to a basket of indices instead of fiat. And the indices we're using to start with are green indices, which are indices published by the World Bank and other data, which track the progress towards a carbon net zero environment. So if you imagine, these are indices that move extremely slowly and they're unmanipulable. And you can't have a bank run on carbon emissions or carbon emissions levels. And so what we're providing as a tracer coin is far more resilient and more reliable. And what it also gives crypto, because the cypherpunk, we're here to democratize access to wealth. But 78% of our transactions are pegged to fiat. That's just not good enough for crypto. So we're inventing an all-new asset class, Cogito protocol, which cannot be depegged.
I want to come back to that point in just a second. Marcello, talk to us about Singularity DAO. I had a chance to interview your colleagues a while ago, and I spoke to Sophia the robot. It was a very fun interview. Amazing technology coming out of Singularity DAO. How is this technology evolving now that AI is in the spotlight? We have ChatGPT. Everyone's talking about AI. What's next for your firm?
Yeah, so there's plenty of verticals that we are tackling with artificial intelligence at Singularity DAO. So first of all, yeah, we've been working with Sophia for quite some time within SingularityNet, and Ben Gortzel is the CEO and one of the leading minds in artificial intelligence and artificial general intelligence in the world. So together we co-founded Singularity DAO and my co-founder Mario Casiraghi to actually tackle the issues on how we can use artificial intelligence in decentralized finance. So earlier you were mentioning the depegging of USDC and the crash of Terra and how Cogito can actually help solving these problems. I would say that the two problems are quite different between each other. So for example, as Janet was saying, USDC is a typical TradFi, traditional finance crash that brought down crypto. USD, which was the Terra Luna, was a traditional blockchain problem. And this is mostly due to the lack of counterparty risk management that exists in crypto. So in traditional finance, being institutional, being regulated, there is a technically more thorough due diligence. In crypto, this exists only to a certain level. And I believe, and we're experimenting and using artificial intelligence to actually manage counterparty risk. So how we can use AI to look at a vast amount of data and analyze a vast amount of data to understand who these parties are interacting with, what is the risk of interacting with certain parties. In this way, we'll be able to monitor in real time the whole blockchain, where we know all the data and the transactions are public, to see what is actually happening almost in real time. AI can help us preventing crashes, like it happens for FTX, like it happens for Terra Luna, like it happened for Celsius, and so many other centralized parties. So this is one of the applications that we can use artificial intelligence for. I
want to come back to Janet, but hold on. So AI can help us prevent another Celsius? How can that happen?
Potentially, yes. So imagine that you have, so if you interact with the blockchain, you can see all the transactions happening live, basically as they happen with a tool called Etherscan, for example. However, it's extremely complicated to look at what is happening, how capital is flowing on chain, who they're interacting with, because in crypto you have wallets, and sometimes wallets are tagged, so you know who these players are. Sometimes are not tagged, so there is anonymity. So it's difficult to see if they're interacting with a healthy counterparty over an unhealthy counterparty, and this is what happened with Terra, for example. In the case of FTX, we would have been able to spot funds coming out of FTX while they were happening, giving us immediately a red flag signal that could have been broadcasted by analysts to the users so they could exit their positions in time before the crash actually happened. Because of the lack of sophistication, the lack of analytics, and the lack of due diligence that happens on-chain, the users were left behind, and they got eventually screwed by a centralized ecosystem.
Janet, you were talking about the top trends in emerging trends in artificial intelligence. In your opinion, top 2 or 3 trends that are likely to emerge that will affect us all?
Number one, we're seeing the rise of generative AI models for text and images.
Explain to us what that means.
Generative AI models are large language models or large image models. They are deep neural networks which are run on giant data sets, and so through performing millions of transactions and by training these deep neural networks on giant data sets, the neural networks are able to predict what words would come next in a sentence, or what would an image look like if it were generated from words. So they are a form of artificial intelligence which combines and reproduces large data sets, and they're very powerful, and we're seeing them now really bring AI into everyday usage. I'm staying at the Marriott here, and the check-in, the head of check-in was telling me he uses ChatGPT 6 hours a day to generate content for hotel marketing and for emailing stuff. Everybody knows about ChatGPT, and it has really brought AI into mainstream usage. Now, what that enables us to, so that's what those models do. That's how they work. Those are generative AI. They're currently enjoying a huge amount of success on language and on images. And over the coming 6 to 12 months, what we're expecting to see is similar levels of high performance emerging from these large deep neural networks being applied to generation of music, and we're working on generative AI music tools at SingularityNet with our Mosaic project, and we're also expecting to see them being applied to generative trading strategies and to be able to do time series analysis. So imagine a ChatGPT actually generating a trading strategy and generating alpha. They're not there yet, but we expect to see that over the coming 6 to 12 months.
I want to talk about that just a minute. Trading strategies. Let's say we were to plug in ChatGPT to the internet today and sync that up to real-time financial data. How could it generate alpha? Tell us about that.
Well, today we don't think it would really successfully do so, because it will simply repeat all of the patterns which it has seen previously. And we all know that trading tomorrow is never the same as yesterday. But as we go forward, as it becomes able to integrate semantic data with quant data, this is the magic missing piece which we're expecting to see over the next 6 to 12 months. It will be able to actually generate both language and numbers informed trading strategies to generate alpha. We're not there quite exactly yet. And then what that brings us to, so once we have these now we have generative AI models becoming very, very powerful and being trained on giant data sets. That has turned the focus of artificial intelligence research back towards more complex architectures, towards cognitive architectures. And this is because it brings an extra layer of controllability. We can use language models to verbalize what is a large, complex model doing. They bring an added layer of interpretation from a human perspective to our models. And so where in the past 5 to 10 years AI has been largely focused, and the investment in AI has been largely focused on applied AI or narrow single AI applications doing one single task, what we're now seeing is a return to the much more exciting and much more powerful fields of cognitive architectures and complex systems.